What's up, cousins? It's DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. I need you guys to come in, join the discussion, become a subscriber if you are not already, and make sure your notification bells are on so that you don't miss a thing. What's up, Supreme Team? I can't get my picture up. What's up, Supreme Team? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, DYANAROZAY, and I'm here to talk to you guys about Belle Collective, child. This is season 8, episode 4. It was thebomb.com. Okay, so make sure y'all take that poll at the top of the page. Listen, let me see and make sure y'all can hear me first. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I see you guys. What is up? What is up? Okay, so listen, when this show first started, when Carrie first came in, we were told that Matt was a baseball player, and we got the impression that Carrie, that Matt was the moneymaker. At least that's what it looked like, right? Matt's a moneymaker. He's a retired baseball player. He runs this boutique, or he was with this other agency. Now he runs his own boutique. But it looked like most of the income was coming from her, or from him, from Matt. And she was kind of figure things out. You know what I'm saying? He was letting her do, maybe you should stay at home a little bit more and things like that. It doesn't appear that way anymore, even though Matt is sitting on a huge inheritance of 400 acres, okay? 400 acres is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And so it is shocking that we are getting this level of wealth and discussion on a TV show when it comes to Black folk, right? We can hear that on Beverly Hills all day, every day, right? Somebody saying, oh, I own 400 acres here. And the wife saying, baby, I'm not going out there. You're not going to take me out there. F that land, right? But because you're watching somebody, a white person talk about money, it's in one ear and out the other. It's like, oh, that's just what they do. But when you hear it coming from Black folks, and you're like, what in the world had to happen in life for those people to get that kind of land and that kind of money? And then how do you pass it off to your children? Something that people slave for, may have died for, blood, tears, all the things for. And you have Carrie saying, I'm not going down there. I don't want to have shit to do with it. And then Matt's mama's like, baby, this is your birthright. This belongs to our grandchildren. Do you know what your daddy had to do to get this land? 400 acres. Monaco, the country, is 423 acres, baby. We shy of 23 acres. We're just shy 23 acres. Are you crazy? That is mind-boggling. Okay, come on in, come on in. Take the poll at the top of the chat, because I really want to know y'all thoughts and feelings. Are you on Maureen's side? I might not be here for much longer, child. I'm not putting a date on it, but I do know that this land has been in your father's family, in our family, for this many years, and you ain't giving it up for that wife. Okay, y'all left each other 2, 3, 4 times already. Leave each other for the 5th fucking time and call it quits, because I'll be damn. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. Anyway, take the poll. I want to know your real thoughts on this, because y'all been asking for wealth. Y'all been asking for Black wealth and all that stuff. I want to know. I want to know how you feel. What's up, everybody? Hit the like button, share the video, become a subscriber if you are not already, and let's get into this chat, okay? All right, so the show opens with Latrice and Letitia going over to one of those sound bath meditations. We saw that on RHOA. I think it was Phaedra. She has a whole sound bath pool in her backyard that she hosts and oversees, right? Well, they're going out to a sound bath meditation, and Tree said, I am stressed the hell out. These fibroids, the blood clots, child, want a baby. My husband isn't listening to me. I don't think anybody can run that business in my absence. I need to, get some relaxation from the sound bath and this meditation. And then they actually show the meditation, and Teresa's sitting there with her eyes closed, child, her fingers pinched, talking about, I get what I want. I am going to have a baby. I am going to do this, right? So that's like, this is the most important thing in her head right now. And then we see Letitia, who's also saying, I am stressed out. I don't know if I'm coming or going. I am always the joke of either the Bells or my damn husband. I don't know who to trust. Okay, so this sound bath is right on time. And she is sitting here in her meditation talking about, let Glenn sign this post-nup. Let it happen, because the one thing, if she is begging in meditation for Glenn to sign the post-nup, the one thing we can say for sure is that Letitia does not trust that she's going to make it to the finish line with Glenn. And that's all there is to it. You don't have to like it. I know she went to a financial advisor, but the truth of the matter is she was being advised to protect her assets in the event of a divorce. And she did that because she said to Glenn, this is the last time we recommit. Correct? That's what she said last season. So we're not going to pretend that Letitia didn't do that, even though she wants to pretend she did not do that. I don't know what this is. Girl, who gives a shit? I said this the other day. Who cares if that man went to see an attorney or anything else? So what? Good. You're getting your ducks in a row. Let him get his ducks in a row. And he should be doing everything he can to prove to you that this is where he wants to be. You shouldn't even sweat it at all. But she's going to. She sweated last episode. She's sweating it this one too. Anyway, she's in here with her fingers like this. And then after the meditation, Treese and Tisha ends up catching up on what's going on between them and the Bells and whatever else, right? And Tisha said, listen, she had a chance to sit down with Selena and catch up. Why did you embarrass me the way you did, telling me that my husband went to see a divorce attorney when I didn't even know he went to see a divorce attorney, right? But she said, listen, after talking to her, she stood on business. She was standing on business. She let me know that the shit wasn't malicious, and I believed her. I believed the way she came to me and addressed it. So I'm going to let it pass, right? And then Teresa's talking to her, saying it absolutely wasn't malicious, and I'm glad that you saw Selena's heart, right? And didn't think that she was just out there doing things to you, because that's not the case. But Tisha also lets her good friend, now Treese, know that Glenn is giving her the damn blues about this post-nup. I mean, I'm hearing it from Selena, but why isn't this man, looking out for me? I have stood beside him for a very long time. I am making more money than I ever have in my entire life. It's always been Glenn's money. It's always been Glenn's money, which is why when he had an opportunity to walk out on me, he left me without it, knowing that he gave me no choice but to come back, because that's what money is, right? You are married to somebody rich and they're fucking you over, and you try to leave that relationship and they let you know you ain't got shit. And so you end up trying to figure out a way to go back into that relationship and figure things out. She knows that. I don't know why she's not saying this out loud the way she needs to be, but she should be saying this on film if she's not willing to say it to him, because she tiptoes around some of the stuff she says to Glenn. And I don't know if she's just saying it because of it's television and she says something else to him in person, but I don't know. Anyway, she's letting her friend Treese know, this is the most money I have ever made. I got all these opportunities coming down the pipeline. And you know how Glenn is, okay? He can get petty. And Tree said, hell yeah, absolutely he can get petty. We know, if we know nothing else about Glenn, he's going to want half your shit. And it doesn't matter if you started it yesterday or 10 days ago or whatever the case may be. Now, has he been the breadwinner in your life? Absolutely. But he also left you high and dry. So I understand why you would want a prenup, sis. I'm with it. Okay, so this is the support that Treese is giving to Miss Letitia, and she's right. Go ahead and call her out, baby. Everything you feel is absolutely correct. Your husband is a mess. Okay. Anyway, Treese ends up saying, "I'm having some problems of my own at home, child. I got these damn fibroids. I should have been at the surgery yesterday, last month, but I keep pushing it off because I don't feel like I got enough support from Woodstock." Cliff, I don't think he understands all that I do at that restaurant. And because he's not willing to shadow me for a week or two so that he can know the ropes of how to handle this shit, because he's not up here. I know he's not up here. I know he doesn't know what I got going on, right? So she's complaining about it. And Tisha said, "You know what, baby, maybe we should do a husband swap. Okay, for 5 minutes. You talk to my husband, I'm going to talk to yours." And then we get this flashback with Letitia. We get this flashback of Letitia. Letitia said, "Listen, Cliff has inserted himself into my relationship, what me and Glenn got going on." Okay. We had a power outage. I don't know if you guys can hear the sound of my voice. Let me know because I just got kicked out and then I came back in. But if you guys can hear the sound of my voice, let me know, please. That way I can continue the live. Okay. Cool. Sorry about that. Whew. Sometimes that happens. I don't know. They have these outages here in Atlanta. It'll just go off real fast and then come back on. I have no idea what it is, child, but we back up. Anyway, what I was saying was we get this scene between Cliff and Tisha. I don't know where I left off, but I think I was saying that we get a scene from Cliff and Tisha where Cliff goes to let her know, "Baby, you're not being the wife that you're supposed to be to Glenn," right? He says something like that to her. And then he ends up saying, "No man," I think he used the N word though, "no ninja with 15 inches of dick should be around a married woman." And then they show the subtitles because y'all know Cliff speaks super fast. So he said, "No man with 15 inches should be around a married woman." And then you see Letitia Cliff like clutch her pearls because she's like, "Oh my God." So Tisha said, if this is the type of advice that Cliff feels he can push off on me, I could definitely talk to him about Treese in this damn restaurant, okay? And her trying to have a baby. I can do those things for her because look, clearly there's no boundaries for this man. He doesn't know what's up, right? And Treese said the same thing. Treese said, "Listen, I have no problem with getting together with Glenn. That I welcome it. I welcome it. Getting together with Glenn and letting him know what's up, okay?" Hey, Miss Dyrese, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat, girl. Anyway, that's pretty much how the scene ends. Is that it? Is that it? Yeah, that's pretty much how the scene ends. And then we get the next scene, which is Matt and his mama. Okay. Mr. Matt and his mama. Matthew goes to visit his mama. I guess it's 2 hours away from wherever he lives in. They don't live in Jackson. Where do they live? If y'all remember, put it in the chat. But he goes to that 400 acres of land, and you see his mama on this like little shotgun house, sweeping the porch and everything. And she appears to be the only one who goes out there to maintenance it. Now, I don't know how old she is. She looks amazing, whatever age she is, because she's dressing her ass off, child. Them scarves, the jewelry, the hair. She's very eclectic. I like it. I like it a lot. But she is up there on that damn porch with this big ass broom, child. And she said, "What brings you here?" And he said, "You did." She said, "When?" He said, 1982. 1982, right? So they have this little banter with each other, which is super cute between the mom and the son. And he said, "Listen, I'm really here to discuss with you what went down between you and Carrie. Like, the two of y'all keep going at each other's throat." And here's the crazy part for me. Matt, you did tell your mama to go talk to Carrie. You did. You know they don't get along. You absolutely told her to do it. So it is funny as shit to me that you are sitting here completely clueless, like, she is your mother, she is your daughter-in-law. You got to figure out a way to get along with her. Okay, sure. So anyway, Matt says, "Listen, my wife told me about what happened when you came to visit. You called her. You said she wasn't a good mama. You said she wasn't a good wife. Not true. I want to say, just take it up for Maureen. She did say that you are a good mother. She starts it off by saying you're a good mother, but she would like to see you more involved, like feeding, I guess, cooking for the kids or whatever you do." Anyway, Maureen says your wife got a big mouth. That didn't happen. She basically says, does it sound like I would disrespect her?" And after years and years of BS, absolutely. Y'all know y'all fight like cats and dogs because Maureen and Carrie are just alike. I don't know how anybody missed it. I said this the first time those two bumped heads. I said, "Baby, that's the same person." Matt married his damn mama, okay? Skin tone and everything. Skin tone and everything. Clone in the house. What's up, girl? That's my sister, y'all. We got the same mama, same daddy. Oh my goodness. Okay, I was told that I'm frozen. If you guys can hear me, if I appear frozen, let me know. Something must be going on with the... Am I frozen? Am I frozen? Okay. All right, thank you. Anyway, now I got to turn the TV on because I don't know what's happening. There might be people entering the chat late. So anyway, Matt married his mama. I don't care what nobody says. She actually admits that she said she's Maureen Light, but he definitely married his mama. That's exactly who that woman is. He just likes, a little bit of a tussle when he is in his relationships with the women. But anyway, long story short, Maureen tells Matt, "Baby, your birthright is this 400 acres of land. The birthright is 400 acres of land that your daddy left to me, and it is going to you. And she's putting it on him. I don't know if we'll get to see his brothers and sisters, um, on the show anytime soon. But she said, more importantly than anybody, you need to be here. You need to start learning these things. And he was like, well, what do you plan on doing with it? I'm so confused. Anyway, she was like, baby, I could build a whole country. I could build a whole city on this damn land. 400 acres. Baby, you have any idea? And he was like, so that's what you want to do? She said, don't discount your mama. Okay? Don't discount your mama. I can do anything. I understand the pride that she has over this land. Okay? Hold on, y'all. Trying to take something down. I understand the pride that she has over this land, and I totally get why she would want her damn son to be a part of it. It's I don't know. Anyway, let me get to it. I'll finish it up, because sometimes I get confused when people who have money act like they don't. You know what I'm saying? There's poor people problems, and then there's some shit that you should make a priority when you have money. If you're telling me you got $3 million businesses, you better pull some of that fucking money out to make sure you can put some groundskeepers on that land and keep it up. That's what I would do. I would make it just as much a priority as anything else. But according to Carrie, they might have a whole lot of shit going on. Maybe they're close to bankruptcy, child. I don't know. Anyway, Maureen is trying to explain this to Matt. She's like, baby, you got an inheritance. You do. And then she says, you're going to have to figure out how to make what you got going on a priority. You got to tame Carrie, okay? You haven't tamed her. Now, Maureen, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that was the closest thing I heard to you told Harpo to beat me, okay? How do I suppose it? You got to beat her, okay? That's what it sounds like, child. And I'm praying to God that that's not what you meant, because when you said it, Matt just looked at you like you was half crazy, and he knew that that was going to be a soundbite for them cameras, that he didn't want to go viral. You know what I'm saying? So he just starts giggling like, what? Why would you tell me that? Why would you tell me that? And she was like, you need to tame her, period. Anyway, after that, Matt says, listen, Carrie is not a stay-at-home mama. She ain't never been a stay-at-home mama. And I'm not sure that that's right for us. Good thinking, Matt. Good thinking. However, you could have, I don't know. There's something about this that's not making sense to me. Anyway, Matt tells her that he needs his mama and Carrie to sit down because they are giving him the damn blues. Okay. I don't know if I'm coming or going when it comes to the two of y'all. You've never gotten along. The entire history of our being together, you've never gotten along. And I think that maybe she needs to sit down and hear the inheritance conversation from you. Okay. Now that's how he ends it. And she said, okay, cool. I'll tame her ass. This is Maureen. She gets up off that porch, child, in this little jumpsuit, this blue jean jumper. She said, cool. I'll tame her. I'm a horse, and I'm going to teach her how to ride, is how she puts it. I'm going to tell you, I like me some Maureen, child, just because I know, even though people don't think so, it takes a lot to have what she has and to raise them kids. I think it was in Louisiana. I think that's where their background is. I'm pretty sure it took a lot. But Matt, I don't like that he's making it seem like he needs Carrie to hear the inheritance conversation from his mama. That should come from you. That's your birthright. That's your land, right? You said my mama's not going to be around forever. I know this. I don't know why you would think Carrie is the person, or your mama's the person to talk Carrie into anything that has to do with that land at all. Just go home and say that shit belongs to me. That's my birthright. That's what I want to pass on to my children. My father wasn't able to develop it. My mama wasn't able to develop it, but maybe I can. Maybe we should start pooling our money together to get people involved that can create a city, that could create, what needs to be done there. Y'all could sell that shit to probably Amazon or whatever tech company with all this bullshit as AI that people use. There's a whole lot of stuff that could happen here that I'm sure got all kinds of ears perked up on how to steal it from y'all now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she says she needs to mind her business and Matt needs to grow up. Oh, Sheila, I appreciate you blessing the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. But I am going to say, if she doesn't talk to him about it, who will? Do you just die and leave your kids what your family died for? What your mother, father, your husband, his family died for? Do you not talk about it? He has siblings. He does. I'm just asking. I'm curious. This is why I thought this was such a good episode, because I said, baby, I need to hear how people think, because I know that sometimes people, it's a part of the family and you don't think about it the way the people who lived it, did it. You might not think about it, right? You're just like, I saw them, struggle with this shit there my entire life. I don't want it. I don't want whatever this history is. But do you have any idea what that could be if somebody did it the right way? And he's, I'm assuming he might be his 40s or 50s. He ain't got a lot of time left. He got to start thinking about what happens next so that his kids can take over or his siblings can take over. I'm hoping the siblings come in and we can have this conversation. Why aren't they involved? Good question. I don't know. I like to watch stuff like about inheritance and stuff like that. I watch that shit all the time. And what I usually hear is that the younger generation simply don't want it. They feel like it's a burden. They want to do something else. Matt is running a boutique agency that counsels baseball players. And he said on the show, I could take a bigger role with the land if Carrie would step down from her businesses. Why does Carrie need to step down from her businesses? If you are considered a consult to others, why can't y'all hire a consult to help y'all figure this out? I don't know. They're talking about it in very elementary terms, and it was boggling my mind. Okay, he needs to talk to his mom about his siblings being involved as well. Agreed. I'm looking forward to them bringing in the siblings. I hope they do, because I am confused. I'm not giving up 400 acres of shit. You know what I'm saying? I will be there. Okay. Tell me what you need me to do. Let's drive the land. Let's do everything. I need to know. Y'all have no clue. I'm sure I want to know what it's worth. You know what I mean? Anyway, after all of that, after he suggests that his mama and Carrie meet up, that's basically how it ends, right? Hold on, let me get to my next set of notes. Okay. So in the next scene, we got Letitia. Letitia pulls up on Cliff. Cliff. And yes, take the poll at the top of the chat. We'll review it. We'll reveal it at the end. And she actually surprised the hell out of Woodstock. Woodstock was sitting up there cutting down trees on the restaurant property. And when she came and tapped him on the shoulder, he literally jumped and went like this, like, what you doing here, right? I'm like, did you not get the call sheet that said Tisha was coming? He said, this is a huge surprise. Why are you here? First, I have to meet with my wife's mother, and now you're here. And Cliff actually says in the scene, he said, I know this is some bullshit. I know it. And I don't want no advice from the Pearsons when the Pearsons are getting divorced themselves. They are the main ones out here with marital problems, always trying to give advice. That's what Cliff says in the scene, okay? He said, I know you want some BS. Why would you send a Belle to me whose marriage is in shambles, is what the man said. So he then reminds Letitia that her marriage is in shambles and said, yeah, I heard through the grapevine being his damn wife. I heard through the grapevine that Glenn went to see a divorce attorney on your ass. Okay, so please don't start with the shits. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear anything you have to say if it has to do with me and Latrice. So he prefaces the meeting with this. Okay. Anyway, Tisha blew it off. She didn't take no offense to it, child. Tisha said, yeah. Listen, I know all about it. I went to see a financial advisor. They talked to me about about a postnup. And I haven't had a chance to sit down and talk to Glenn about it, but I will. Let's get back to you, okay? Stay up out of my business. I'm here to talk to you about your business. Cliff was like, sure, go. Tell me what you got. What's on your mind, right? Tisha says, listen, you need to help Treese with this restaurant. I am worried about her. I'm worried about her damn health. And she told me she refuses to get the surgery because there's too much going on up here with the restaurant. So why don't you help her? So now Cliff is looking at her like, baby, you just started a business yesterday, okay? I got this restaurant. I'm sitting here with these damn trees I'm cutting down. I've been doing this for a half a dozen years, along with my other businesses, okay? I have multiple entrepreneurial businesses. And you are sitting here telling me what about this damn restaurant? I built it from the ground up with my own two hands. I know everything there is to know about it. So why are you here again? I mean, he was literally trying to just stop himself from saying, if you don't get the fuck away from if you don't get up out of here, girl, Trace can't tell me nothing about this business, just like you can't tell me nothing about this business. But again, Letitia said, no, don't do that now. Now, you making it look good cutting these trees down. That's what you're good at. But not with the business. This is Teresa's baby. This is what she does every day, Monday through Sunday. And she is successful at it. And she needs your help. You should be helping her more. Cliff, absolutely. Cliff said wrong road. Cliff kills me when he knows you can see like 100 thoughts running through his head. But he just sits there like this. Like, are you really, how do I handle this without cussing your ass all the way out? Right? Anyway, hold on. I didn't even finish that other part of the conversation. When Tisha actually says to him that she went to see a financial advisor, let me get back to that part. She said, I seen a financial advisor, but he went to see a divorce attorney. I'm going to talk to him about it. She said, this is weird because, you know, Glenn has never asked me for nothing. He's never asked me for a dime. Cliff said, I know. And he said, she also says, but Glenn is petty. This is the second time this petty conversation comes up. Glenn is petty. And Cliff said, absolutely. Okay. And she said, I know that if it does come to this, if it does come to a divorce, even though she didn't say the word divorce, but if it comes to it, he is going to be extra sassy and extra petty because that's how y'all are. Y'all men are sassy and petty when it comes to the breakup. Cliff gets offended. He said, I ain't never been no damn sassy and petty. Don't put that shit on me. And Tisha said, Cliff, you're the creator of sassy and petty. Cliff wanted to, in fact, Cliff did cuss. Cliff said, I know you ain't calling me the creator when you the motherfucker. And he does say this. They had to bleep it out. He said, you motherfuckers are the one who created it, okay? You and your husband telling me I'm the creator. Y'all invented that shit, not me, okay? But he was cussing so bad that Tisha actually doubles over laughing. Like she is sitting up there trying to keep it together and finally she couldn't, child. She just doubles over laughing. It was hilarious. Anyway, Tisha ends up telling him about Treese after that. That's when she said she needs to make sure that you know this business backward and forward. That's the only way it's going to make her comfortable enough to move forward with the surgery. And Cliff just says what he knows she wants to hear, right? Cliff says, listen, Treese is hard-headed. Let's start with that. She's absolutely hard-headed. And even though she's sitting here trying to make it seem like I'm the problem, if Treese doesn't take care of her temple, which is her health first, it won't matter. The business won't matter. The baby ain't going to come. So she's actually operating backwards. She needs to get those things under control so that these other conversations can happen, right? And he's not wrong. She does need to take care of her health first and foremost. She's sitting here putting all this energy into a baby she's not even sure yet her body can carry. She might have to do IVF and do it through a surrogate. She doesn't know that yet, but she is putting a whole lot of energy, stress, and weight on this part of the conversation. Whereas Cliff, who has 5 grown ass kids already, right? And he's been around the block a couple of times. He's like, I entertain this shit with y'all, but I'm not going to get myself bent out of shape for it. I know what this is, right? In confessional, Cliff says that he will do whatever it takes for Latrice to move forward with this surgery because he doesn't want anything to happen to Latrice. He said, I am in love with my wife, and I'm really tired of her thinking that I don't support her, that I'm not going to back her. If she needs me to walk around while she holds on to this damn computer for a week or two, I'll do it. But she needs to get on that damn operating table, right? He ain't lying. Anyway, when we get back to the scene between him and Letitia, he tells Letitia, no more pop-ups. Don't come over here with no more pop-ups, child. You text before you come. Okay? Text. I might need to get something to drink first because you like to bring a lot of heavy shit to me. And the truth of the matter is we ain't even on the same page. Okay? We ain't even in the same zip code, baby. Don't play with me. And I get it. I actually respected Cliff, even though I know a lot of people gave him hell in the comments. I actually said, Cliff is right. He knows better. He knows a little more than Latrice knows. Latrice is just working on what she wants right now and not thinking about how to cover herself all the way to the end of the road, right? Anyway, after that, we get a scene with Latrice because Latrice got to do her husband swap with Glenn, child. Tree shows up. She gets on her computer and does a FaceTime with Glenn. Anyway, when you look at the scene, all you see is all titty with Latrice because Latrice got on some sort of body corset, something, I don't know. Anyway, her boobs are directly under her chin. And then when you see Glenn on FaceTime, I hate to do this to you, Glenn, but I don't care. Glenn has his phone down. So all you are doing is looking into his damn nostrils. I was like, boy, if you don't pick that phone up and do this, oh my goodness. Anyway, so that FaceTime was off the chain between going back and forth between those two. But Treese calls Glenn and she said, listen, Glenn is on the road, so I can't even do a real pop-up. I'm supposed to go into his business or wherever he is and have a one-on-one, a face-to-face, eyeball to eyeball, right? And Tree said, it's been over a year since I've talked to Glenn after he basically, y'all remember in the scene, I think they were at her restaurant then too, where Glenn said, back up off my wife, shorty. Well, she took that as a physical threat. She said, I ain't fuck with Glenn since then. Okay, we ain't had a real conversation since then. A chuck the deuces, high bye, that's it. I don't want to talk to Glenn. But in the sake of moving forward, I will do so now. And so she has this conversation on the phone. And Glenn started making jokes. So if somebody died, you and Letitia are friends now, but is that how it's going to be tomorrow? And she said, we're moving forward. We're not even looking back at the past. And Glenn said, you're right. I apologize to you. And Tree said, now's my fucking time to bring up what you did to me, right? She said, thank you for the apology. I appreciate that. And I also deserve an apology for you walking up on me and saying to me, get out my face, shorty, or however that shit was posed. She said, I didn't like that. I felt that made me feel away. And he said, interesting, because that's not how it happened. She said, well, it did happen for me like that, right? And so Glenn gives her, well, if I made you feel away, I apologize. Because I think I deserve an apology too. And she said, for what? He said, for that damn ambush that you and Mandy did at your house, you never apologized to me for that. And you can see it all over Latrice's face. She was like, and I don't want to apologize now because y'all remember last season, Latrice said, I'm not apologizing for that shit. I had nothing to do with it. That was all on Mandy. And furthermore, it was all on Glenn. Why are you sending, knowing you're married, why are you sending that lady, single lady, messages? Hey, big head, you need anything? Happy birthday. She didn't need any of that. You shouldn't have been doing it. Anyway, he says, I want an apology. And she said, cool. If I did anything, I'll give you the same apology you gave me. If I did anything to make you feel away, I apologize. Life is short. I'm gonna end this shit, okay? Me and Letitia are in a good space right now, and I'm not gonna let you railroad me, Glenn, because I know what type of motherfucker you really are. And I have to say, kudos to you, Latrice, because a lot of people would have been saying, you know what, this phone call is over. But for the sake of keeping this TV show going, let's just wipe our hands of this shit, because you ain't never gonna see things my way. You don't believe that you had a part in it, that you played a part in it. So I'm not going to convince you. Cool. I agree with her. Anyway, she said, let's talk about this damn post-nup, child. Since we talking about things, let's talk about this post-nup and the fact that you went to see a divorce attorney on your wife and started telling everybody else except your wife. Okay. And Glenn said, I didn't see a divorce attorney. I simply saw an attorney. Okay. She is the one who brought the post-nup conversation to me, and I wanted to know more about it. Latrice said, well, you could have Googled that. You didn't have to see an attorney, period. And he said, no, don't have to Google shit. The truth of the matter is everybody keeps pretending like a post-nup isn't something you sign in the event of a divorce. So if this lady is planning, okay, these steps, then I get to see whoever I want to see. Okay. Treese actually asked him, did you really see, did y'all talk about divorce? Yes, we talked about divorce. Of course. That's exactly why I went to see her. I wanted to know what was going on, right? I want to know how to protect myself in the event that something were to happen, right? I don't know. I feel like Glenn is being a lot more honest in these scenes than Letitia is being in these scenes. And I don't know why. I don't know if she's just afraid to, or if she is protecting Glenn, because she does a lot of protecting of Glenn. We'll get there. But Glenn is not. He is saying exactly what's on his heart. I don't give a shit if I talk to Mike about it. So what? She talks to y'all about stuff. I can talk to my friends. That's number one. I can see an attorney if I want. So what? She went to talk about a post-nup without me. She should have saw me first. So she's saying all of this. And Tree said, cool, I understand, Glenn. You and Letitia have been together for a long time. Okay. And you've taken care of her for a long time, and nobody's trying to discount that. But Letitia is coming into herself right now, and just go on ahead and sign it. That's what Tree says. Just go on ahead and sign it. Let her figure herself out. She's in a new chapter of her life. She deserves that, Glenn. Glenn says, listen, when I found out that Letitia, I keep calling her the wrong name. When I found out that Letitia went to see a financial advisor about a post-nup, that shit hurt me to my core. And you know how petty I get when my feelings are hurt. And Tree said, yes, very petty. I know exactly how petty you get. Okay? We are not going to pretend like Glenn isn't one of the pettiest mother effers around. All right? But she said, listen, y'all been together since the beginning. Y'all been making money since the beginning. It's probably going to be 50-50 no matter what. She's going to get 50% of what you got. You'll get 50% of what she got. Assuming y'all sign this post-nup. but sign it, empower her, make her feel like you trust her, like you are invested in this relationship. This is what she's trying to tell him. Make her feel like you are invested enough in this relationship to want her to succeed. And then if things don't work out, at least you'll have this already figured out, right? Glenn says that he wants the original Tisha's heart back. I hear what you're saying. I'll think about it, but I don't want shit from Letitia. I don't want her money. I want her original heart back. Tree said, you think you're going to get it? And he said, I don't know, but I'm going to fight for it to my dying breath. Anyway, it was interesting. Okay. That's how the scene ended. Let's get to Carrie So Very. So Carrie and Matt go out for lunch, okay? And they are there to talk about Matt's meeting with his mama. Okay? And Carrie basically let us know right up front, I have no interest in that land. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I'm not moving 2 hours away. I have goals and dreams of my own, and I am not going to kill everything I have going on for your mama and that property. Okay, that actually shocked me a little bit that she wasn't a little more open to how they could, let's figure out other solutions. But she just starts off that way. I don't care about that land. I don't want that land. If the goal is to be a millionaire, because let me say this. Working in the restaurant business, one of the hardest industries ever, okay? That is a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week job for most people. Most people. So I'm just curious. Again, I don't feel like we're getting these scenes right, but hopefully they're feeding it to us a little bit slowly. But at the end of the day, why doesn't she want to learn more about the land? Or at minimum, if I'm not physically there, what can we do? Who can we hire to oversee the land for us? People do that all the time. But Carrie says right up front, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to have anything to do with it. And then she begins antagonizing and getting very disrespectful about Matt's mama, to Matt directly. She basically said that your mama is average thinker, average in every way, and then compared herself to a doctor and said, do you think a doctor would take advice from a janitor? And Matt literally stops eating. Like, he says in confessional, I don't know if he said in confessional, he might have said it there. He said, Carrie, that is some disrespectful shit. You are very disrespectful when it comes to my mama. You shouldn't think like that. You shouldn't say that type of shit out loud. And I have to say, I agree. Calling his mama a janitor, girl, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Calling her average, what's wrong with you? She was just off the chain. At one point, you hear Matt say, like, repeatedly, Carrie, can you just shut up? Can you please just stop talking? Shut up for just a minute. Shut up. You're not listening. Shut up. And she was like, whatever you like. Okay, now I'm going to pretend to be your mama, Matt, because that's who your mama was. Whatever you like. Whatever you like. I was like, girl, you are going to cause some real problems in your family later. You're going to cause some real problems when that scene airs, child. That wasn't good. But yeah, she went through the whole gamut. Finally, she says, okay, cool, no problem. No problem. And Matt ends up saying, that land is near and dear to my mama's heart. And she wants my help. Okay? That's my inheritance. That's my kids' inheritance. And I owe it to her to, find out what she needs from me. Carrie actually says, are you going to Greensburg? Are you going to live in Greensburg? Matt says no. And she said, exactly. Still confused. I'm still confused. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have a right to find out how he is supposed to deal with this land, Carrie. He still has to figure that out while this lady is alive. That is his mama. You still want to ask all the questions. Do you know how people leave this earth and they don't tell you anything? They don't tell you where the will is. They don't tell you nothing. And people be scrambling to figure it out before the city or the state takes it from them. He has a right to get this information. He has the right to do it. He should be sitting with his siblings and trying to figure this out. But she is dead set against not having anything to do with it, okay? Anyway, Matt said, my mama ain't going nowhere, and you're not going anywhere. So we need to meet and discuss what happens next and why the two of you don't get along. Child, you said no, he caused the problem when he ran to his mama to get his wife straight. And she was happy to oblige. Come on, he went about it wrong. I don't know if you came in late, Patricia. I talked about that earlier. I did say that, but we can't stay stuck in the same place, right? I mean, if every time they talk, she says you suck your you had your mama, blah 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 blah, that would be a problem. Now we need to talk about the land. But in the beginning, I had a conversation where I said that that Matt was the reason why that shit went awry in the first place. But still, you shouldn't be calling his mama average. You shouldn't be calling her a janitor or any of those things, because you wouldn't want her saying that about Eleanor or him saying it about Eleanor. Correct? That would be messy. Oh, I figured you might have came in late, sis. I was thinking, I know we went over that conversation, but in this part, because remember when they talked last episode, they sat down. Matt said, I'm gonna get this figured out, because she said, listen, your mama said I was a bad wife, a bad mother. I'm never going to be the kind of wife that sits at home. I'm not a Stepford wife, right? But if I'm misunderstanding something, because they're not telling us this the way they need to, it sounds like Matt's mom wants Matt to be, I guess, the majority share of this land, even though it's an inheritance with his brother and sister. I think he has a sister and a brother. It sounds like she wants him to be the operator of the land. And I think that would mean Carrie and him would have to move out to Greensburg. The problem is no one's having conversations about what else can happen. And I don't know. I might just be talking way too far ahead, right? Anyway, after after Matt said that his mama ain't going nowhere, we're going to have lunch and talk this out. That's what they agreed to, okay? All right. In the next scene, we got Miss Tisha. Tisha meets up with her husband, Glenn. He's finally off the road, child. And he ends up taking her to that little plot of land that's right in front of the lake, or wherever they are, wherever they did that recommitment ceremony. He takes her back there, and Tisha and him are reminiscing about when they used to go there when they were 18, before they had, the baby and everything. And she said, this used to be our place of peace. Every time I would come out here, it would just be so peaceful, and they would just, remember good times and love and all that stuff. And Tisha said, it's always been that for me. This place has always been that for me until the recommitment ceremony. I was nervous. I didn't want to be here. I had a lot of anxiety. And Glenn said, I could tell. What was what was it about? And she said, I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to do the recommitment ceremony, but I did it for you, because I thought about you and the fact that this would be embarrassing for you, for me not to show up. And I realize I do that all the time. I put aside what I feel, what's right for me, what I know deep down I shouldn't do to make you the priority. What would Glenn want? How would this make Glenn feel? Right? So she said, I did it anyway. And Glenn went, got it. Okay, because now he's pissed because he thinks she should be over it. She's not over it, Glenn. You break this lady's heart. You embarrass the shit out of her on a routine basis. Okay? She's been so embarrassed, she don't even know where her bottom is any goddamn more. All she knows is if it happens again, she's told herself, if it happens again, I'm out. But Glenn said, I have been apologizing to you, trying to make things right with you for over a year, and you still haven't figured it out yet, right? And then he says to her, our son is going in his teenage years, and he can see the distance between us. I go to hug you or kiss you, you pushing me off of you. He sees that, teacher. He knows what that is. So right now, you need to let me know where you stand, okay? He basically tells Tisha, if you in, you're all the way in. Basically, I don't give a shit what your mind is telling you. I don't care if you are embarrassed. If you're in, you're in. Right now, you don't get to feel things anymore. And if you're not in all the way, then be out, is what he says to her. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. Yes. So Tisha is sitting there, and I know she has things to say, but she doesn't. And this is what I mean by she's still in a place where she's protecting Glenn, because she really could have said, Glenn, I didn't. Okay, cool, I'm out. Because he's about to embarrass the shit out of her yet again, okay? Anyway, Tisha looks at him and says, so you're giving me this ultimatum again. If you're in, you're in. If you're out, you're out. This might be the third time Glenn has asked for a divorce on TV. But Tisha says, so you want a divorce now? Is that it? You went to see that divorce attorney. So you want a divorce? Glenn looks at her like she has three heads, right? And he says, Tisha, a postnup is what people use in the event of a divorce, right? So I went to see an attorney about it. Absolutely. And then Glenn proceeds to tell her all the shit that Tisha wouldn't say on camera, right? I saw a divorce attorney because you're the one who introduced this entire postnup thing to me. And I'm not the type of man who will let you have that conversation with me and not go protect my assets. This is what he says to her. That's not who I am. Oh, you went to see a postnup? Sure, I'll sign. That's not who the fuck I am, Tisha. And I'm not going to be that for you right now, right? He also said to her, you sit here getting embarrassed by some shit Selena said. Selena told you that Mike, her and Mike were pillow talking and said I went to see a divorce attorney. He said, I don't give a damn. Okay? I don't care that you're embarrassed by the Bells knowing anything. Period. I can talk to who I want to talk to about it. I don't have to talk to you first. He said that shit was heavy that you laid on me, Tisha, about a postnup. So I went to my friend and talked to him about it. Are y'all listening? Because I just want y'all to know that women put our feelings aside for men all the time and these kind of things. He's just, and he ain't saying it in an ugly way, you know what I'm saying? But the words that are coming out of his mouth is basically, I will do what I need to do to protect me always. Always is how he puts it. And whereas Tisha's saying, I don't feel protected and I have to figure out how to protect me. I have to figure it out because I've allowed you to do this to me for so damn long, Glenn, that now for the first time ever that I have people that are interested in me, that I am making my own money, I finally see a way out of this hell that I called a relationship and that I've made myself be okay with. Period. She said, Tisha made the monster, baby. Anyway, Glenn said, hold on, child. Anyway, Tisha says to Glenn, are you going to sign the post-nup? Are you going to sign the post-nup? And she said it all upbeat. So you're going to sign it? And Glenn said, hell no. I refuse to sign a post-nup. I'll do a divorce before I sign a post-nup. That's not what he told Latrice. He told Latrice that he'll spend the rest of his life fighting for that woman's heart. And you know, Latrice went back and told it. And now she's sitting here thinking, okay, well, maybe Glenn is, feeling a little differently. I did my prayer and my meditation. And he said, hell no, I'll do a divorce first. I'm not signing shit. Okay? Tisha said, Glenn, you are struggling to support my elevation. You see that other people are interested in me and that I have other things to do, that I am bringing out, the gifts and the skills that God put in me, and you can't handle it. But for years, anything you said you wanted to do, I cheerleaded you on, including you wanting to be a rapper. Glenn, when you said you wanted to be a rapper, I supported you. I cheerleaded for you being a fucking rapper. Okay? On them damn big ass gold chains and Terminator glasses and holes in your damn pant legs. I ain't never said nothing other than good for you. And you can't support me where I am? You're spoiled. I've been doing everything for you and you can't do one thing for me. Check. That's right. That's right. Glenn said, Tisha, are you out of your fucking mind? Because what he's looking at right now, similar to what Marceau did to Tisha, is that money shit, right? Tisha's telling him, I don't know where I am. I'm not happy with myself. And you're like, just be a housewife. Who gives a shit? She has a right to be who she wants to be in this life. Okay? We only got so much, damn it, of it. Let her figure it out and you should support her in it. And the same goes for Glenn. You should support your wife where she is. If she's figuring out this is where her voice is, this is the thing she wants to do, it doesn't take anything to support that, especially since she was standing in the front row when you was up there with your microphone, talk about 1, 2, 1, 2. You don't think that shit ain't embarrassing, child? It is. Okay? You've seen that over the years. Facts. And she wasn't even bringing it up as a joke. She was just saying, do you know how whimsical you've been in your life? How many things you've tried and said, you know what, maybe not for me. And I have supported you on it. You didn't come out the gate saying, I want to go down to the shore and fish for crab. That wasn't your dream job, asshole. The fact that you don't understand that you think that she only has one role in life, and that is to serve you and to be a mother to a child who's about to go into his teens. That's what you said in the episode. He's about to be a teenager. If these are the things that's true, Glenn, then what are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, he had the nerve to say all of that, right? Anyway, Tisha asked, what did she need to do? And Glenn says, I need you to make me a priority again. Before, you were waiting on me hand and foot, dinner on the table at whatever time. Even if I was on the road, calling me 100 fucking times a day. Okay? Asking me, how's it going? What can you do? Everything was taken care of. I need to be a priority again. And Tisha said, that shit ain't never going to happen like that again. We've both changed, Glenn. Okay, I am a different person. I will never go back to that old Tisha. I will never be the person that served you hand and foot like I used to do, ever. And Glenn said, okay, then you can't do nothing. Glenn said, let's get a divorce. Okay, let's get a divorce in. 4th time he's asked for a divorce in the last 2 seasons. Glenn is a hot ass mess. Teacher starts saying, "Are you serious, Glenn? This is childish. You can't even have a conversation. You're giving him too much. You should have said, if that's what you want." You should have said, "If that's what you want, sir, okay." Because I'm never gonna be that old Tisha. I told you her ass was buried, okay? You can get in the ground with her if you want, but she ain't never coming back up. That's all there is to it. Anyway, Glenn walks away. He screams he wants a divorce. He starts heading to the car. Tisha is still sitting on the picnic table. And she said, "You're not even going to take me home?" She screams that out to him while he gets in the car to pull off. When he said he only thinks about him, he meant it. That's it. That's all he knows how to think about. And you did train him to think that way. You told him it was totally fine, that was all you were going to be. But he should have known better. I will say that. What you're asking for is not unreasonable. It is possible that you could get a divorce. Go on ahead and sign that damn post-nup. Who cares? Sign it while you guys are in a good space, because as Glenn pointed out, as you've pointed out, as Treese and Cliff have pointed out, when Glenn gets his feelings hurt and doesn't get his way, he will kill everything. He will be petty as hell. He will take everything from you to prove a point, even if it means you didn't have enough money to buy a burger. And you can't even say that to him, right? Because he's sitting here saying, "Tisha, I've done everything I could do. I haven't even done anything. It's not like I cheated on you again." That's what he's saying to her. "Why are you still mad? I haven't done anything again." And she said, "Well, bitch, it's not like you haven't done something. Haven't, had, and will again." That's the whole point of the prenup, of the postnup, is to make sure that when it happens again, Glenn, it's over. Right? I don't think that what she's asking for is a lot. I think it's crazy that she's kind of asking, that she's begging him to see her point of view. I think he should know it. I think that if you came back to a man and you said, "I didn't have enough money for a burger," and you start making your own money, that he should have some respect for you and say, "I get it. And I was a lousy bastard when that happened. And you shouldn't even like the person you were when you did that to her." You know what I'm saying? Like, you should be able to look back on some stuff that you did and say, "I really have a regret, because I don't know who that person was, and I would never want to put you in that position again. Ever. I have enough love for you to say that now. And I hate that I was in that person before." That's the type of man you want. He's basically saying to you, "If you don't do shit my way, let's divorce. I'm not signing shit. We'll divorce first. I'll pull everything from you now so that you can't be who you want to be in life." I don't know. I'm not liking Glenn, okay? I'm not liking it. Anyway, that's basically how the scene ends, with her asking if he's going to give her a ride home. Child, I would have called an Uber. I would have beat his ass to the house, and I would have had his shit packed. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Miss Carrie, Matt, and Maureen, because they do their little meetup. Child, this is the last 3 minutes of the episode. And Carrie comes in with an attitude. She said, "Baby, I'm not even going to pretend like I'm not holding a grudge. The shit that your mama did to me at the house when she stopped by was a problem for me, okay?" She basically said, I love your mama because I'm supposed to, but I don't like her. And I especially don't like her when her ass is on that drink, okay? Can you make sure your mama doesn't get anything to drink?" Matt started laughing and said, "Child, I can't even arm wrestle her not to take the drink out of her hand. Once she gets the drink is all there is, okay?" So anyway, she ends up saying, "Baby, I don't like that woman. I know that we're supposed to meet, but I don't like her." Now they come in and Maureen starts ignoring Carrie. And when I say ignoring Carrie, I mean, she's like, "Hey," they did a little talk, but she starts talking to Matt like Carrie's not sitting at the table. And he was like, "You don't see my wife here? Like, what's going on?" And she was like, "Oh, okay, well, I didn't know what this was about." Anyway, Carrie ends up telling Maureen that Matt has been frazzled. Matt has been frazzled ever since he left you on that meeting about that 400 acres of land. And he looks at his wife and says, I wasn't frazzled. I wasn't frazzled. And when me and my mama had a talk, I got a good understanding of the importance of the property and what it means to my future and my kids' future. Now, he says all of this at the table, and Carrie went, because you can tell that there's another conversation that was had or understanding that she thought she knew that Matt is not saying, okay? He said, I understand, my mama. We got an understanding. His mama said, that's right. We got an understanding. We do, bitch, not you. And he said, I understand the importance of this land, what it means to me and to my kids, not to us and our kids, to me and my kids. That's a completely different conversation, Matt. And that's why I said you are playing both sides, okay? You are playing both sides. But Carrie looked at her husband. She said, baby, you like to pander to your mama. I know what this is about. And then she said, I got something for you. She picked up that damn cell phone and she started tapping. And Matt said, Carrie, who are you trying to call out or reach out to on that phone? She said, don't worry about it. I got something for you. And it turns out that Eleanor was sitting right there in the parking lot, Carrie's mama. And Carrie said, baby, you're going to talk this time. You ain't going to leave me standing on my own like you did at the house. So get your ass here. Okay, we out here on the patio. Anyway, Carrie's mama comes walking up, and Eleanor and Maureen hug each other. Maureen is so cute. That part was so cute. Maureen said, oh, it's my best friend. And she stood up to hug, and they kiss each other on the cheek and shit. And then Eleanor goes and takes her seat. And that's when Carrie lost her damn mind, okay? Because Carrie said, my mama's here now, baby. I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel about you. Carrie said, you manipulate Matt when it comes to that damn land. You think, okay, that we're supposed to pack our shit up and go on out there to that 400 acres and give up our dreams, our hopes, our wishes for some shit you can't do yourself. And then she just kept going in from there. Anyway, Maureen looks over at Matt and she said, do you hear how she's talking to me? Do you hear how she's talking to me? Okay? She's intimidated by me, first off. She's intimidated by me. Second off, she has a horrible mouth. She's very disrespectful. She wouldn't know how to handle me if she tried. Okay? So she's pushing buttons that way. Carrie's pushing buttons the other way. And then Maureen looks over at Eleanor and said, you see how your daughter is? You see what your daughter's like? And that's pretty much how they wrap it up right there. You could just see that Matt was going between the two of them like, please, how do I stop y'all from going after each other? The answer is you can't unless you stand up and be truthful, because you're giving your wife one story and your mama another. You told your wife that you did not want to live on that land. I'm assuming that's what she meant. You're not driving 2 hours out there every day, 2 hours there, 2 hours back. You're not willing to dedicate your time that way. But you told your mama that you were considering it. So that means, Matt, you're the problem, baby. Okay? You're the drama. You got to figure that out. I don't know. Anyway, hey, Belicious. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Belicious is a member, y'all. Y'all know how I feel about my members and my girls. You said you think that they are both alike, but mama is using her mama role to push buttons. All right, let's take the poll. Let's see how y'all feel about it, okay? Because if you're a mama with 400 acres of land and you want to make sure that your kids keep that land in the family. What do? How, I mean, do you just, if he says no, you just ignore it? Or do you try to talk to your kids and explain to them the value, the worth, the importance to have this much land as a Black man? They're not making any more land, okay, babies? That's it. God said this is it. So if you get 400 acres of land, that is your birthright, your grandkids' birthright, your great great grandkids' birthright. There's a lot of people that whose lives could be forever changed with that land, and I don't think they see it that way, which is, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let's take the poll though. If you guys are watching the replay, you can take the poll and put. So in the comment section, answer this question. Whose side are you on? Carrie's or Maureen's? And 83% of y'all said Carrie, and 17% of you said Maureen. All right. I have to say, I feel like Carrie and Maureen are both just bumping heads the wrong way, but I'm on Maureen's side when it comes to that land. I can't even imagine not fighting for my kids to take a bigger participation in it. I would want my children to participate. I would be mad as hell if they didn't take it on so that the grandkids could have it and their kids could have it. I mean, this is how, wealth is built, right? I would be very upset if he didn't take it. And I would do everything I could to talk to him about it. I would be in Maureen's shoes. I would do everything I could to say, this is your land. This is your land. You have to take a bigger role. And it is Matt's job to say, I may not be able to do it with my own hands, but I'm going to work this job and we're going to figure this shit out so that I can put a groundskeeper or someone there that can actually deal with it for me, that can oversee it for me. I'm on Maureen's side for that part. There's some things that I think Maureen is doing wrong, but I also think that Maureen and Carrie are exactly alike. And even though Carrie is, got all kinds of nasty shit to say about Maureen now, she's going to be 10 times worse. Let her hair grow out gray, okay? Carrie thinks she's a fly piece of something right now. You know what I'm saying? She is mouthy right now. She rubs people the wrong way right now. All the shit she hates about Maureen is an exact mirror of who Carrie is. That's what's so hilarious. She's more like, at least from what I can see on this show, she appears more like Matt's mama than she does her own mama. You know what I'm saying? Her own mama already went through the tussle. She don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Carrie's grown. I'll do a little talking to her, but I'm a step away from that. And Carrie thinks that's a win. It's not a win, girl. Your parents just realize you're going to be hard-headed and you're going to bump that head and come to them when you're done. So they back away. Maureen, on the other hand, is saying, don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. Figure this out now. And she's also, a little bit anyway, saying to her son, just on that last statement when she said, see how she talks when she says your house, her house, her restaurant. Basically, she's saying to her son, you have your own too. You don't have to live off of this heifer. You don't have to let her hold the purse strings. This is your shit. And you have more shit than her. If you want to, if you would just accept it, if you would accept your birthright. That's what she was saying when she said that line. Her house, her restaurant, not ours. And I think Carrie said some shit like, do you need your son to have his own? And even when she said that, I was like, Carrie is the breadwinner. And that's what it sounds like. You said Maureen just needs to leave Carrie out of it instead of trying to blame her for her son not being hands-on when it comes to their land. but I definitely wouldn't want to lose the land either. I don't know. Matt married his mother. For all intents and purposes, Carrie is his mama. And you can feel like you're on Carrie's side now, but you're really on his you're really on his mama's side, because when those restaurants and all that stuff, if Carrie was to make those, you know what I'm saying, if she had restaurants all over the country, you don't think she wouldn't want her children to take those restaurants on? I think that Marie had that conversation with her children. Your mama is a multimillionaire with these health clinics. And if you guys wanted to learn the business, I'd be happy to teach it to you. Because really, this is your birthright. Like, what happens to me when I'm gone, this fed me. It took care of y'all. So wouldn't you want it? This is such an interesting conversation to hear about this type of wealth, and to see how these generations of people is handling everything. And right now, Carrie would rather be a influencer on Instagram than own 400 acres of land. I find it fascinating, child. He appears to be weak dealing with his wife, and totally opposite of Glenn. That's true. He's nobody's Glenn. Matt don't want to tell his mama he is in his soft hands era. He's in his soft hands era, and he don't want to do hard labor when it comes to that land, but he still wants to land. Right. So that's why I said, if anything, they should be brainstorming about putting someone on that property who oversees the property. The property is still yours, but y'all got to get developers out there. There's a whole lot of things that y'all should be doing. And you have to talk to your siblings about it, because it's their land too. But I don't know. This is a great storyline. I personally think so. It got a lot of people talking about it. Carrie literally came onto this show without having to, blindside anybody or bum rush any of the other Belles other than Marie. And that's just a genuine personality conflict. But other than Marie, Carrie is bringing an amazing storyline to this show. I love it. I love it. I love the fact that she's been open and saying that her and Matt has had some problems, that their biggest problems, they get along great unless they're talking about his damn mama or finances. Like, that is an amazing story. They have those beautiful kids. What's going to happen next? And Matt is the one who left her. She didn't leave Matt. Matt left her multiple times. That's when she said, I pulled your son. And Maureen was like, you pulled my son? You know what I'm saying? Like, who do you think you are? I don't know. I love it. I love it. I want to see a happy ending. I would like to see him take on the land, or at least maybe have his brother and sisters buy him out, if that's what you want to do. But I think that would be a big disservice to your children. I mean, a safety net like 400 acres, my goodness. You know what I mean? Anyway, thank you guys for coming over and listening to this. I got one more video I need to do. I'm going to start working on that as soon as I hang up here. But you guys have been amazing. I appreciate every single one of y'all for hanging out with me, for rocking with me. Y'all know what we do. Thank you to my moderators. Thank you to all of you guys for coming over and hanging out with me today. Hit the like button, share the video, follow me on all platforms at DYANAROZAY. I don't know if you guys heard me say this, but thank you to my sister, Clone in the House, and also to Lady D Keys. Thank you to Sheila for gifting the channel. I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. Until the next one, bye-bye.